It'll interfere less at that distance, but the closer you get, for example, 6 or 7 turbine lengths, you can see a substantial drop in power at the second turbine.
And that's an exponential function, isn't it?
Actually, it drops off real fast and then it kind of levels out. So, like I said, the first turbine gets 1. The second turbine might get as low as 0.6 or at that level. It might, and it tails off a little bit after that, but more likely 0.8 down to, and this is from, the reason I've seen that is because it's from data from offshore wind parks in Denmark, where they've been studying this for a long time. Monitoring those power reductions.
How many rotor placements do they use?
Those are about 7 away, 6 or 7 away, yeah.
There may be a greater impact on a campground, I would assume, if you had 2 turbines.
I would guess that too.
Yeah.
I think you run the risk of a much bigger negative impact to the neighborhood, quote unquote, the campers if you put 2 in. Don't you think?
I would guess.
When you sit back and you say, one, you could say it's kind of cute, it's working well, we're over here, that's right there, you hear it, you hear the wind. You can live with it, but if you put 1 here, 1 there, you feel like you're now like in a football field, there's one goalpost, there's the other, and you're going to hear the, not a roar, but you're going to hear more noise. And psychologically, you feel like you're more contained, confined, whatever. Right? So I think that would be more of an impact to the campground. But I still think, one, I just don't see it as an impact. I mean, I know you say otherwise, but...
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying you have to recognize it may be, it could be a problem.
Yeah.
I think you can't go into it assuming that it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I like what Hull did. Hull is now in the process of putting some just about a mile off their coast. So they had 1 up, they liked it, they put a second 1 up, they liked it, and now they're putting 4 more right offshore. And Jamestown could consider that model too.
Though they have their own utility, right?
They have a whatever it's called, municipal.
Utility.
It makes a big difference.
And I think partly what Bucky says is probably, well, I would tend to think rather than money for Jamestown.
Yeah.
I think we should recommend 2. And I get a little bit frustrated with some of the arguments against forgetting with the loss of risk and loss of revenue with the camper. It's maybe, I think my thoughts are apples and oranges, or not comparing the 2, but I feel like the campground isn't being run in a very good economic sense to begin with. If we have a waiting list, then we're not charging them. So let's get rid of the wait. I mean, you should have no waiting list. And maybe a turbine, you lose some people, but at least the people who value it will be paying the value to stay there, and will be generating extra money from the wind turbine. And with the conflict or the risk of conflict with other uses. We have a plan now, like right now, with something that could happen very quickly. And I know the working group has been working on this for a long time, but it seems like there's nothing concrete that's being brought to our attention. That, and there's nobody here saying we wanted to put a pavilion right where the turbine is going to go, or something like that. And this is a project that's ready to go. And I'm biased, obviously, but I feel like something that is...
Fort Getty hasn't changed since I've lived on the island. Not a bit.
Do they have a cost estimate for what the improvements that need to be done just to get that campground back up to snuff? What is that number?
$6 million or something.
Yeah,
That includes a couple restrooms.
and that does not include the pedestal. Remember that brought
It's restrooms and making it
it's water lines,
Water lines.
electric,
Yeah, electric.
brought in but not pedestals, 2 million big pedestals. But then again, if you do that, you need to know where they're going, where you're going to move the campsites. So water, electric, and
Restaurant.
septic.
But the discussion of keeping the campers away with the turf is kind of funny, because if you really think about it, what keep me away as a camper is lousy restrooms and poor infrastructure, and that place is still packed. So,
They're buying a view. That's
Actually, you could use the income generated by the Fort Getty turbine to upgrade the infrastructure. That's why direct benefit from having the thing there, we take some of that, put it back in that slot.
It would pay for
That's too logical, you're saying?
Well, they're taking the revenue out of it, but
It would
getting
pay
the
for the
campground now,
improvements.
and throwing it into the general.
It's not going back and forth.
Revenue,
All right.
$30,000 per year.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's try to have one conversation if we can. So there's more than sufficient funding that's realized as a result of doing two turbines, that the town would have some discretionary choices as to what kind of infrastructure improvements around the island, capital improvements they wanted to make without having to put additional tax burden on the town. And a portion of that would be paying for upgrades to enhancement, beautification of Fort Getty, in either consistent with the land use plan that was initially adopted or some modification thereof. So really, it would open up a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
One other thought it could also open up, although the timing wouldn't be great, is the town jumping in on the LNG blockades. I mean, obviously they'd have to spend money now and wouldn't get the revenues till later, but energy related to salvaging the island, it would be maybe the town council could have. But anyway,
Well, that of course will already be out of the bar. That's right.
I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. It's just something that maybe looking down the road, to know that now might ease their, or help them make a decision in one direction versus another. But I agree with Bucky that now's the time to do two, because it probably, if you do one, it'll be a long slog to get a second one.
There'll never be another opportunity with the stimulus funding, Reggie funding, or the other.
They are mine.
Now, speaking of funding, how certain are we about CREV money being available or not?
I don't profess to be an expert at that. I thought our estimate was relatively conservative in terms of the amount of financing that we thought we would get.
I think so.
This remains that way.
I
Nothing's
don't know if
changed.
there's a cycle to the credit applications. I don't know if it comes and goes in some sort of cycle where there's an application.
I believe it's open. I just went over this the other day, actually. I'm trying to decipher the Treasury Department's website and all the different funding cycles and restrictions on types of funding, and there are many, many dates associated with it. I think everything is open right now for quite a while, till the end. Projects need to be applied for before the end of 2010, I think. They need to be started before the end of 2011 and completed before the end of 2012 for production projects. For the CREV cycle, I think it actually extends a little bit farther than that.
Maybe we should think about using the time period between the town council's vote and our applications for ERA and EDC funding and the financial town meeting to apply for credit also.
Sure.
Yeah, because you can certainly get them before you have a project. Mary can did.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then you have that to lay out at the financial
Right.
meeting. You say, we've got this grant, and we have zero interest bonding. All we're doing is filling this in. And just see.
Yeah. Speaking of the financial town meeting and the forum that's most appropriate for considering townwide vote is the financial town meeting. Obviously, where we're gathered and discussed, just as we've done for farms. The best format for is a special election, an all-day referendum, where a larger group of people are likely to weigh in or not. That's one of the things council have to make a decision about for the next few months.
Yeah, my own guess on that is that this is a very information-intensive process, and no matter how much, we saw some of it in the council meeting, no matter how much information we put out there, you can't expect everyone to have read the whole study, and giving people continued chances to talk about it is good. But then at the farms, there was a lot of information out, and no one said anything. All in favor, ayes. It could go either way, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever the council wants to do.
What's the meeting date that we're?
June 7th is the financial.
No, but the town council.
Oh, it's next
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. That's why I was asking Dave if you could have the written material in by 4 p.m. tomorrow. We'll get on the